I don't know, Chris, are you still out there? Chris is going to come on in now. I'm going to literally go to the wide shot, and people can see me like adjust the cameras for a minute here while we get organized.
Over here's cool.
Yeah. Thank you. Leave me the poster. All right, we're not that far off here because there's really only going to be a couple cameras for what we're doing, sir.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, thanks for coming in.
Thank you. So yeah, we're live, right? We're just rolling right from the
Yeah,
get-go.
let me switch. Find your
Sweet.
camera. Where's your camera? Oh, the one I kept covering. I kept hitting the wrong button, so I kept going to an empty chair while I was trying because I'm trying to do an interview, but I'm also trying to like press buttons, which proved to be a little bit more problematic. So, hey, welcome back.
Thank you very much. This would be episode 15 of Niagara Stuff. This segment here, which is also pretty much the 1 year anniversary from my first.
Oh, really?
My first, yep. So 15 in, and it was mid-August of 24 that I started here at Emerge, and the experience has been awesome. And this whole the thing today, this event is really cool. I've been watching since it started and commenting here and there, sharing a lot of stuff on the socials, and trying to get the word out for people to tune in and donate a couple dollars if they can to the Gospel Rescue Mission, which is the charity that the proceeds could go to today for this, and it's great. Yep. I want to thank Rich for the just the ability and the experience to be able to come here. The past year has been pretty cool. I learned a lot and got a kick in the ass here and there when needed, and very creative, cool place to work and hang out.
I appreciate that. I mean, I enjoyed getting to know you. We knew each other before this, but we never really got a chance to kind of work together in this capacity. And I definitely enjoyed, I think you and I, both born and raised in this city. We're both cake eaters from LaSalle.
Yeah.
We've certainly got to talk to a bunch of people. You've got a nice collection of people that that are pretty active in our community in the right ways. Not necessarily politicians, but a lot of behind the scenes people that make our community strong. I'm glad that I'm lucky enough now I feel like I'm part of that community now.
That's cool.
And I want to appreciate the fact I know that, I think, some of your connections helped us get this article. And I know you had something to do with that. Mark Shearer did that, and he was your guest. So that episode's just dropped, the Mark Shearer episode. So check it out.
Yesterday.
Before we get too far, I have your socials up on the screen, but just tell us a little bit more about where everybody can find your content.
Mostly the main thing that I update the most would be Facebook, and it's NiagaraStuff, just NiagaraStuff on Facebook. And the NiagaraStuff podcast is a part of that, a segment of some of the things that I post. A lot of it started off as the local history page that I was running when I was city historian, and then it kind of blended into some like local pop culture and fun nonsense, and not strictly just like local history dates and black and white pictures, but just things from all over the world, people sharing, whether it's old commercials and kind of retro vintage vibe to it. So that turned into, over the years, into NiagaraStuff, which kind of, with that broad title, is a big umbrella for everything in Niagara County. And I focus mainly on Niagara Falls as the epicenter, with trivia and a lot of local business promotion and just trying to get the word out of people's businesses and maybe their specials for their pizza place, things like that. So it's a good collection for people that just want to, they could scroll for hours probably on the NiagaraStuff Facebook page. But we're also on Instagram, NiagaraStuff, I think Niagara_stuff, YouTube, all the videos, if there's 15 episodes now. So yeah, there's a lot to read and a lot to scroll mindlessly.
And you've had some good guests. Local businessmen and people involved in our community.
I made a list. We've had Galen Bailey. He was my first guest. He's been on a couple times. He owns the new Daredevil Museum on 3rd Street. Very cool little spot. People in town, or you yourself as a local person, stop in. Definitely a lot to learn there. I had previously donated a lot of the things from Paul Gramosiak's collection to Galen, and they're on display in there, amongst all the other cool. I mean,
I didn't know that at all. I didn't realize. I did not know that. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. He's got a little section too, and I think the section, it's on a riser, and I know he was planning on dedicating that little spot to Paul, the little library there, because a lot of the books came from Paul's collection.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, and that's I know Paul would be proud of that. Not only the books he authored, but the ones that were in his collection, rather than sit on a shelf somewhere and collect dust. I thought that would be a really cool place to house them.
Paul would have loved the museum.
Oh yeah.
He that was one of the things he really wanted. He thought, and I agree with him, that was one of the things that we could never just seem to happen in his lifetime.
All right.
To create like a cool, there's so much history in our community.
Yeah.
And unfortunately it's just over here and it's over there. There really should be one centralized location.
Yeah.
That covers everything from Love Canal to Marilyn Monroe to the Underground Railroad.
He had the vision for the Niagara Experience Center, which was batted around here and there, like grants had come through and funding, and then fell through and then came back again, and private donors, and you know how the plans go over the years, and the what's that called? Like when they put a fake picture up, the future vision of it,
right.
You know, with the little people with the blurred faces walking in,
the
glass
the artist renderings,
renderings, right. And so he didn't get to see that, but the concept's great. Basically a local history museum of like Smithsonian comparison somewhere downtown. But he did get to see the and was a part of the ceremonies for the chimney being moved up to where it is now, which I think is a pretty prominent, pretty cool place for that. So yeah, that reasons to be proud. So anyway, going back to Galen's museum, and he's also the president of the Downtown Business Association, so we hope to have him back on future episodes. Rich Moranto, my man here, he's been on a few times also, came in a pinch a couple times when my guest couldn't make it or had to reschedule.
Well, I got to sit over here anyway. So.
I know. Well, I hope your buns are ready for today.
It's funny.
You're going to be sitting there for a while.
You and I must be getting to be good friends, because the funniest thing that you should notice is I'm sitting on a new chair.
Oh.
And my wife and I had our 30th anniversary the other day, and we ended up going shopping. And I said, you know what? I'm going to buy a new stool, because I'm going to be sitting on that thing for close to 24 hours. I should get something a little comfier. So we went to a store up in Buffalo, because there's no place to buy that stuff in Niagara Falls anymore, and I found a stool. So my butt is feeling pretty good.
Let me know if you need one of those blow up donut things. As I said, I can steal it from someone's swimming pool
from sitting over here.
We've had Seth Picarillo was on because we were promoting Festival of Slice. Hope to have him again. Last year's was a great event.
They announced the new date for Festival of Slice.
November 21st.
Okay.
And that's I believe it's the Friday before Thanksgiving. So after the Thursday before Thanksgiving, I'm pretty sure it's the.
So it's the week before,
the week before Friday.
Well, that's kind of a cool time to do it.
Yep. And people are in town for that. You know, that's a different timing this year, but that could be cool. So I'm looking forward to that. That's my main event of every year that I look forward to. We have Anthony Villardo on, and we want to have him back because there are some updates in the downtown sector and that he's involved with. But I do want to thank him. I haven't taken advantage of it yet, but he gave me a great pizza tip. He told me to check out Good Vibes Pizza, and the only way to find them and get a hold of them is on Facebook. So that's all I can tell you is check out Good Vibes Pizza Company on Facebook, and you'll find them.
I don't even know where they are. I've not heard of them.
Right? That's like one
looking
of those,
for some new pizza places.
This one is you from what I hear, I've heard a couple some feedback on it, and it's excellent.
You could be who's the pizza guy that eats the pizza?
There's Portnoy. There's that Joe guy too, the Canadian guy that lives around here.
You could take over that and just eat.
I love it.
I'll go with you because I like pizza.
Such an easy, there are a lot of people doing it now. It's a pretty popular social media thing of going in and trying the pizzas and doing that. But I would do something more like just visit the places. So it's a small business shout out, not strictly just the pizza.
Right, exactly.
Because it's getting done so much, but it's a great topic. We had Nicholas Hurd here from the downtown sector in the tourism industry. He also is the owner of Tugby's Bazaar, where you could get corner of Niagara Street and Daly Boulevard. Yep, right on that the new section where that whole building was redone. It's beautiful spot. A lot of stuff like gifts and things to bring home if you're coming from out of town or going to a party or whatever. Jamie Holka was on around Christmas time. He's recently has a new album out. You can find him on jamieholka.com. We had Tony Paletti from the Marketside Restaurant came on.
I just saw his dad this morning.
Oh yeah.
I went to Wegmans to pick up stuff for some fruit and bananas and ice and everything for today. And I was walking out to my car, and his dad was like, Morano. And I was like, oh, hey, Mr. Polano. And he's like, I saw your picture in the paper. So he saw the article.
Oh, okay.
So it was kind of cool.
Wow, that's quick.
And I bought 2 copies of the Gazette today, so I figured I don't get home delivery anymore.
Cool.
So, so I ran into his dad. I mean, again, and what I said to him was, there's not, his, the father, has been running Marketside. He ran it his whole life, took it over from the family. My family's business was in the market many, 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 many decades ago, moved to essentially next to where the Gospel Mission is. In that parking lot was where my grandfather's meat market once was. And then we moved to 18th and Linwood, and it's not there anymore, obviously, but that's where our family business ran out of. And one of the reasons my vision and my son and I always wanted to bring Emerge into Niagara Falls is because we wanted to kind of carry on that family tradition of having our family business in the city of Niagara Falls, where we live.
Awesome.
So
yeah, that means a lot. I mean, really, to the city, that means a lot. More and more people do that. Things are bound to turn around.
Yeah.
Then we also had Ange Birdie from State Parks.
Oh, yeah, that's
Sue
right.
Swikowski on from the Prime Outlet, the mall on Military Road. That was a fun conversation because Ange was a little nervous about coming on, didn't know what to expect, and we basically talked about the Muppets and maybe Three's Company and that kind of conversation.
Just silly stuff.
Yeah.
None of it had anything to do with her job with State Parks.
She got a plug in. She got a plug in there when would squeeze one in, but otherwise.
I love Angie. I love Sue. I think they're 2 of the funniest people I've ever met in my life.
Yes, it's fun. So they want to come back and continue the conversation.
Well, we talked about it because I think you saw it that Sue. Did you want to mention that
in the Spree magazine?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. She Buffalo Spree.
Yep. She's
been featured. I actually subscribed to it, but it didn't come in the mail yet, so I didn't see the actual in my hands. But featuring her basement, she had her basement redone a few years back, and I guess what they were doing is the topic of themed out basements or themed out rooms in people's houses in the area. So she calls her basement the Regal Beagle. And speaking of Three's Company, they decorated with a lot of pop culture, movie stuff. Really cool. So she got featured at a few pages and the pictures of her basement. So can't wait to get that.
Yeah, and she and she texted me. I texted her because I said, "Hey, nice job, congratulations," and then she texted me back that she's going to reach out to you because we talked about maybe even filming an episode down there.
Oh yeah, cool. On location right there. Is that what she said? Yeah. Cool. We had Joel Holka on. He was at the time promoting the Love in LaSalle festival that is in LaSalle. That was on August 3rd. I hear that was great. So he was on for that, and also promoting the Greater Niagara Sports Hall of Fame. The induction ceremony is October 18th. There's tickets to the dinner. It's a great event. The proceeds all go to the actual functioning and operation of the Greater Niagara Sports Hall. It was the Niagara Falls Old Timer Sports Hall of Fame. They changed that to be just broader for the Greater Niagara region, which helps out tremendously with their membership and the donations and things. So that was Joel. He was here in July. And my last guest just the other day was Mark Scheer. That episode is out now at YouTube / NiagaraStuff. That's probably the easiest way to get there, or just find us on our socials and you'll see all the videos.
And as soon as I get my butt in gear, I'll get the audio versions posted. I didn't get a little bit busy this weekend.
Yeah, right.
So
you got something going on the next
I don't know
days.
what I'm doing tonight. I might,
Yeah.
Somebody said, "What are you doing Saturday night?" I'm like, "You've not been paying attention to my Facebook page at all."
Right. Putting eye drops in and the toothpicks under your eyelids.
Yeah, we're wondering how that's going to go. But
are you going to be here all night?
I'm here all night. I'm not leaving.
Awesome.
Everybody else is coming and going, but I'm here the whole. I mean, I got here at 10. this morning, and then because I had to do some setup,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna be here till noon, and then I'm thinking like 12:05, I'm gonna go home and pass out.
And you probably won't even be tired by that point. You'll be in like the giggle side where you're like,
yeah, I'm trying to figure out, like, I can't imagine myself going home and taking a nap. I just probably will just power through, and then at some point around 8 o'clock, I'll just fall asleep on the couch, which is a typical night for Rich anyway. Just sleep on the couch watching Rockford Files
nice
something.
And snuggy, yeah. When's the A and B conversation? Are they tonight?
That's a good question.
Because
I've not committed to memory.
Like
so
11?
Yeah, what's going on is after you're done, we have an episode of Tee It Up. They're coming up next, and then A and B Convo comes in after that.
I was gonna say they should throw that. What's the shot or question or truth or shot or
truth
or
shot? Yeah, I was on that.
That'll knock you out.
I was on that, and that was probably a terrible idea. Although the funny thing about it is I was doing, they do a truth or shot thing.
Yeah.
And if anybody don't know, it's a great topic idea.
Yep.
They didn't invent it. It's just they do several episodes. And there was, there's a bowl of questions, and you have to pick a question out of the bowl, and then you have to kind of discuss it. And they had rigged the questions because they were trying to get me to have to answer like questions to make me have to do shots. Yeah. So we had and Ari, who is one of the co-hosts, knows my wife, and that's how we got them into do podcasting. And so my default position was, if my wife knows the answer to the question, then I don't have to worry about taking a shot. Or something that would embarrass my wife, that's when I would take a shot. So I ended up doing a lot more shots just to be a good sport. But the funny thing about it is none of it kicked in until the episode was over. Ooh. So I was pretty good until I went to stand up on their side, which is on the other side of that door, which is why I'm pointing aimlessly. And then I was like, oh boy. So luckily I had someone to produce and drive me home that night.
Right.
Right.
So you got comfy on the couch here. And
And Ari,
Rockford Files on here. And just got
and Ari will not be doing any shots for a while because she just did a post that she's expecting a child.
Oh, awesome.
So she's not going to be doing any drinking on the podcast for a while for obvious reasons. So.
And some other time though.
Someday.
Relive that. Yeah. So that was our guest list that we've had on, and
you've done very well with guests, by the way. Those were all great guests. You had really good shows. I know it's tough when you got a real job and you got other responsibilities to keep your content flowing. And you do. I know you had a hiccup with some family stuff. I know for a little while there, and you powered through that. And I'm glad things are okay now.
Oh, yeah,
and,
awesome. Yep.
But that's life, and that's kind of like. And I think one of the things that I understand is that this is not I have to be supportive and I have to be patient with everybody, and I don't want to be annoying. So I have to find that balance of, hey, are you coming back in?
You're not with me. I mean, I've never had any annoyance at all like that.
That's good to hear.
So feel free to crank it up when you might need to, because I usually need a dose.
Well, it's funny because I don't want to be like, oh, and by the way, I don't want to be like, oh, because I don't want to make somebody feel like it's about the money.
Now
I don't want to lose customers. I don't want to be that guy, but at the same time, I don't want it to be. The money is important because I have to pay the rent, and I have to make a little bit of money because my time is important. But at the same time, I don't want what we do at Emerge to be necessarily just about money.
I don't ever get that feeling whatsoever.
Well, that's good.
In fact, I'm a master of procrastinating, so getting 15 episodes in is a milestone, a year of doing it. I know, I'd love to have double that, but it didn't happen. But I'm very happy with getting.
Well, now I'll start harassing you more. Now that I know you better, I can start giving you a harder time. Where the hell you been?
Yeah, you should. But Chris Tybor at Chris Fit, every once in a while I'll get that text, where you been? And I'm like, I know. Okay, here we go. Got to get my ass in gear. But no, it's been a great year, and been happy with with the people that I meet here and the people that work around and the creative functioning here. It's awesome.
Hey, since you're there, and we got a comment from Tank, who's coming in later.
Okay.
He says, what's the over-under 7.5 coffee so far? What do you think the over-under is on that?
For you?
For me.
Oh, I got to say under.
And I'll to make this fair, we'll do the whole day from when I got up until now. And I got up at 7:30 to watch my terrible soccer team lose today, which really was good that they lost because it made me turn the game off and go do what I had to do to be ready for today.
So cups of coffee, 7.5 at this point.
7.5 over and under on the 7.5 cups of coffee.
Well, the fact that it's even that high, I'll take the over. I'll say 8 cups.
Okay.
8 cups.
And not that much.
No.
I'm actually under.
Oh, all right.
I think what's in the cup right now, I think is 5.
Well, that would be that. Geez, that's a pretty big cup too, right?
It's
not one of those giant.
It's from one of my I might as well promote him because I haven't mentioned him yet. The guy that I work with is Nate. I think you've met Nate a couple times. 5 Day Productions. He's Nate Gambino owns 5 Day Productions. He's a former student. He runs his business out of our building, and we do a lot of installations together. So we've done a bunch of installations at facilities. We actually just got hired to, if you're a Niagara Falls, it's Niagara Falls thing. Nate's company and my company, we got hired. We are redoing, we got the bid, we got through the bid. Actually, most of the equipment is starting to arrive slowly but surely. We are putting the new PA system in at Sal Magley Stadium.
Oh, wow.
So people that complain about stuff that the Niagara Falls got money, I believe a lot of the money came from Greenway or something. It's not a tax increase money. The money's coming from a separate source.
Yeah.
That was funding those types of things. Apparently, that's what I was told. I could be wrong, but that's what I was told.
Right.
And that they wanted to upgrade that. They're upgrading the scoreboard finally. We're not doing the scoreboard. Another company's doing the scoreboard. But then they also wanted to upgrade the PA system because it's really bad if you've been to an event there. And we put in the bid, and Nate and I are both Niagara Falls businesses, so at least it's being done by a local contractor.
In-house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. So, and when is that? By next year?
The goal is to have the system completed by the end of the fall. Because there is fall ball. It's mainly so the Americans that play in the summer, which is a really nice program. But there's a couple colleges that play there. So they play fall ball, and there's some tournaments and stuff in the fall. So we are going to try to have the system working and installed so we can hand it off, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then, and then we will, actually we have not a contract, but the first part of the contract, the key equipment gets taken down and put away for the winter. So we have a part of that's our contract to make sure that it lasts. So, because obviously it gets very cold over there. So we have we're starting to do some prep work for that. But a lot of it is the problem is just so much of the equipment that we need to order, so much of it is backlogged because of the way things work right now. We're not behind, but we can't start installation for at least another couple of weeks. We're doing some things in a warehouse right now, but a lot of the on-site stuff can't start yet because we just.
Is there games on now, or is that over?
I think I don't know because the colleges are just going back. So I'm assuming the colleges start playing.
Okay.
So they're going to be using the existing system, and then at some point there's going to be like a 2 days, 3 day switch over where we have to put in the new system. We're still working out the calendar because we have to work with the city to come up with a calendar, and then my schedule and his schedule.
Is that like going up in a cherry picker kind of thing too? And all
some
that?
Of it is. We are doing something a little bit different with the speakers. We did not go with crazy over the top big speakers. We actually brought in a company that designs systems for. We designed the system with a company that actually designs systems for fields, arenas. So it is, I forget the name of the company, but we are going with a smaller speaker that will be mounted basically behind the seats. It won't be up on poles 50 yards away. Okay. It's going to be up. There's going to be more speakers spread out across all of the bleachers, and they will all be aimed down at the stands.
Is that the standard now in
Yes, you don't need to put up a speaker that's bigger than your car, and then leave it outside. So no, we did as a bunch of smaller. This is the way it's done now. Yeah. These are these high-end outdoor rated speakers that are up high enough to keep them safe, but low enough so they're not really far away from the fans.
Yeah.
So you're not on the ninth hole of the golf course, and you feel like you can hear the band, everything. And then there's also subwoofers, and we putting stuff in the concession stands and everything too. So, we're appreciative to the city giving us a chance to do it. So
yeah, that's a big one. That's awesome.
Yeah,
good. Congrats on that.
Yeah,
and it's improving. Sal Magley, that's an icon of the Falls. Have to keep it up to date. People go in there, and that's the vibe I get from what I read in the paper and the updates I see online and things that like.
Well, you have to do things to your infrastructure, and whether it's the school you work at. Whether what I do here, I bought a bunch of cameras when I opened the place, but that doesn't mean that's it. I'm not buying again. No, I have to do upgrades. I have to buy new equipment. I have to replace equipment. I have to expand my equipment. And that PA system that is at Sal Magley was probably updated, and I'm going to say updated, when the school district was still running the stadium in around 2007, 8, or 9.
I mean, that's newer than I would imagine.
So
I would have thought it was old, you know.
The city had to replace it. The school district was running the stadium, if you remember, when it first opened after the redo, and so the school district changed the PA system, and I want to say maybe like 2008 or 9, and so 15 years, and it's just, you know, this is going to be a much better system that can play music better, and you know, it'll have things. It's a very cool system. It's the biggest job we've done, but we're glad to be doing it in our hometown.
Yeah.
So
and it'll be proud afterwards. You'll be proud of the product.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
It's like those guys that drive around. You know, like my wife's father was a bricklayer, so he would drive by things when they were kids. Like I put the bricks up on that thing. So I'll be like that guy now. I put the PA system in on that place. So.
I was just telling my buddy the other day about driving past. When I was partners, my buddy was a developer. So when we'd be driving around or whatever we were doing, he would say something. He'd mention like, see that building there? And like, yeah, you go, I'm looking at that. I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at the land next to it. Like, oh shit, really? Cool. That's interesting. And then some other time would be driving past, and that building, that warehouse, I'm looking at that. So when I'm driving with my girlfriend, I'll just pick some building and go, see that building? I'm looking at that. Like, just I'm just looking at it. But same thing, like driving by, like the old timers saying that I built that. Well, I'm looking at that.
I guess we're old timers now, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's many indications.
I'm much closer to. You're not quite old time. You're just older.
I'm just
time.
a baby boy.
I'm at the old. I'm definitely at the old timer. You know.
No. We got a long way to go still.
Yeah.
Speaking of old timer, I wanted to bring up a subject that I don't think that we touched on. I want to get your. This goes in the categories of some nonsensical things that we talk about, but the pizza made me think of Leon's, and Leon's has a new hot slice that is like the best seller there. And I have to admit, I'm a cheese guy. I just like a plain cheese. I'm not a big cheese and pepperoni lover, but this one has the cup and char pepperoni, little splotches of ragout on it, and hot honey. It is so good. That's the slice you got to go grab at Leon's. That's my little plug for one of my favorite places, Leon's Pizzeria.
Is Leon's on Lockport?
Porter.
Sorry, I always get those two confused.
Yep, and I think, and this is what I was saying about old timer. I think that the slice tastes exactly the way it did for when it was at the Summit Mall.
I would agree, and it was funny because I was going to say, is it still at the Summit Mall?
Yeah, no. That was my next subject. Was going to be the Summit Mall.
I just remember at one point they were also in the Outlet Mall for a brief period of time, I believe.
They were on Millpine Plaza. They were on next to. I guess there's a Family Dollar in there.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. I still remember as a kid just going to Leon's and getting like a slice or two, and it just being on a regular cheap paper plate.
Yeah.
And that real thin crust.
It's so good.
That's a really good pizza. And you know, because I live down this way, we're over in downtown Niagara Falls, closer to NU, and so we don't always think about like Leon's or Buzzy's or Jocko's. We don't tend to think of Mr. Ventry's, the new one that's out there.
Yeah,
we don't think about those unless we're out that way. We tend to order from down the street.
Leon's is so worth the little couple minute more drive. That slice is exactly the way it was like in 1980.
Now we might have to order a Leon's today.
Yes.
Hopefully they DoorDash too.
And try that slice one day. That it's the hot honey, cup and char, ricotta, and just like regular red sauce. It's awesome. But that led me to the Summit Mall. That's a conversation that we can have one day. I'm sure talk for about a half hour on. Were you a fan of? Did you get dropped off, or was that your roaming around days at the mall?
My wife and I just had this conversation the other day, on our day on our anniversary. We took the day and we went to wherever we went, and we were just talking about malls. And then the summer, and she and I both had similar experiences where your mom or somebody's mom would bring you to the mall like 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, and you'd have like $4, and somehow that had to last until the end of the day.
Slice of Leon's is all I needed.
Yeah, and like Leon's going to the Cavages or Record Town or looking at clothes that you weren't going to buy because you didn't have more than $4 in your wallet, in your pocket or whatever. And then, going to places like that.
Get picked up at 5, 6 in the afternoon or in the early evening.
I'm trying, and I was saying, I don't remember things the way I used to. I feel like there were a lot of times that we would get dropped off more like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, and then we wouldn't get picked up until after a movie. Yeah. So we would go. We had a little bit more money. My dad would give me a few bucks to go to the movies with my friends.
Right.
So we would go to the General Cinema, walk down the big long hall, and go to see a movie. As I got older, once I got into high school, I was always at the mall on a Friday or Saturday night to go to some movie at midnight, either like Rocky Horror Picture Show or the Who one. What's the Who one?
Tommy.
Some of the like Led Zeppelin, The Song Never Ends or something.
Right, the rock operas.
Heavy Metal, the animated one.
So you must be like,
mostly Rocky Horror because I was a high school theater kid, and so we always did because it was in Fame. We always went to Rocky Horror. So I knew back then we would have the costumes and what to wear, and you'd throw toast at the screen and still all the goofy jokes.
Yeah.
So, but I remember, she definitely says that she and her friend would get dropped off at the mall all the time when they were in like 10th, 9th, 10th, 8th grade.
We would take the bus down the boulevard.
They might have taken the bus now because they probably didn't have a car.
We catch it on Pine Ave when Niagara Falls Boulevard was still Pine Ave and take it all the way to Sears. And get dropped off at Sears.
Because you lived over by, like, over by the library, the LaSalle Library.
Yeah, when I was a kid going into, like, up until about 7th grade, I was on Munson and 86th Street. That's right around the corner from the library. And then my teen years was on Kroll Parkway behind Mill Pine Plaza.
But either of those, and it's funny, did you ever walk?
To the mall?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd walk through...
go up Colvin Extension or go up Cayuga?
We'd walk Cayuga or we'd cut through Love Canal just so we could mess around probably and check out the houses. And it was that was crazy growing up then. And when those houses were all there and boarded up, and that's a surreal thing to even think about. I mean, even I know the tragedy and the crazy circumstances of the whole thing, but even just as a kid in the mid 80s, after it was 10 years past, I guess, we didn't even know how fresh all that was. And we're walking through boarded up houses and playing in them and craziness.
I remember
that was going to the mall. We'd walk through,
My biggest thing that I remember at Love Canal was I was a little kid in elementary school at 66th Street School, and I don't know why, but we all jumped into the station wagon. So this had to be like, I don't even know what year it was. I mean, Jimmy Carter was probably president, so I was maybe 10, and I remember going to see the protests outside 99th Street School. And never seeing that many people at something before. Yeah. Not even understanding what it was because I was 10, so I didn't know what Love Canal really was.
Right,
and over the next period of time, I started to understand what was going on.
Right. We had no idea as kids, and we saw Jimmy Carter drive past. My friends all went up on the expressway, through the fence, and went up there, and he drove past and waved. It was pretty cool. So he must have been going to Love Canal.
So they went down. He was on the LaSalle Expressway.
LaSalle Expressway, coming from downtown, going to like where you would spit out on Williams Road.
Okay.
I mean, you might have got off. I remember there used to we saw the guys with machine guns up on the catwalk up on the overpasses. Yeah, guarding the path. And it was just dozens and dozens of black cars, limousines and things, and then Jimmy Carter driving by waving. That was pretty cool memory. So I was real little. We didn't even know what we were doing. We didn't even know what was going on. I never even really knew that's why he was in town until I was in high school. Right. I'm like, oh yeah, shit, I remember that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that he came here. Yeah. I mean, I know that obviously Lois Gibbs was a big name at the time. She, was one of the main persons that was involved with that. There's all kinds of, problematic people say certain things about her back and forth, but regardless, But she was a person that you know
she
was the face of Love Canal for the average person. So regardless of motivation or whatever, she was the strongest voice from our community.
Yeah.
And did a lot. And and unfortunately, that's just one of those sad stories that have hurt Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
And
as a kid, like we were saying, I didn't know anything about her and didn't know anything about it until seeing old newspaper clippings as a as a teen in local history class or whatever we were doing, social studies.
Yeah.
But as kids, we'd play in those buildings or in those houses, and there was always an open door somewhere, an open window for goofy 13-year-olds to run around in.
Yeah, I lived closer to like the night where Niagara Catholic was, so we didn't go as far out that way. Because that's pretty far.
Yeah, that's a hike to walk, right?
I mean, that's, we lived on my mom still lives over there on 68th Street. So 30 blocks is a long way even to ride your bike back then.
Yeah.
But we only rode our bikes to the mall a couple times. My mom was always super protective of us like that. My dad would, just go. But my mom was a little bit more.
We were doing.
I did used to drive from my house on my bike to the Jerry Lewis Cinema, which was OTB for a long time. I used to ride my bike with my friend.
That's a haul. That from your house on 68?
No, because you would just go down Connecting Road.
Yeah.
By Dunkin' Donuts, because I lived around the corner from Dunkin' Donuts. Okay, go past down Connecting Road.
Yeah,
and then just make the left to Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
And then a lot of, and then sometimes we would cut through something and end up in the back of Saucony's property. Right. On our bikes, and then ended up just cutting through.
Now that's all built. And that those cut throughs, it used to be like forest thickets back there. That's all plowed down in parking lots.
But that's probably about the farthest on a regular basis, any place I ever rode my bike to.
I remember one time when we were on 86th Street, my cousin came over and we rode our bikes past the wagon wheel from 86th Street all the way down the boulevard. Right. And our parents found out and we got grounded for going that far on our bikes. So yeah, that was pretty treacherous, especially going fun. Down the boulevard, at the time. How are we doing on time?
Where are we? Let me look. I got to look. Sorry about that. We're at 4:52. So what? You were supposed to. I'm looking at my schedule. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah, you were only going to go to 4:30. So but you were super. You let us kind of jump in and.
Yeah, I didn't know if there's anybody up on.
No, I mean what I'm going to do now is when you're done, we're just going to switch over to Tee It Up with Phil and Cindy. And let me switch my camera. Yeah, we're going to switch over to Tee It Up with Phil and Cindy, who super appreciative to them. They're actually my podcaster of the month.
Awesome.
Because they've done a lot. They've brought a lot of customers into Emerge, and that's actually led to a lot more work for the company.
Great.
And people that are using Emerge as their place to shoot some content. And then even one of their more recent guests is actually coincidentally joined up with another person, and now my son's joined them, and they've started a soccer podcast called Everybody But the Top Six, and they've done one official episode. They're going to do 2 episodes a month, and then they're going to do 1 episode where they watch a soccer game on a live stream in the building. So they're doing 2 taped episodes and 1 live episode, and they're going to try their first live stream one in the morning.
Man,
I think at 9 o'clock we're watching a game on one of the TVs, and they're just gonna. It's not like we're watching the game. Where the game's on, they're talking about the game. You won't see the game for proprietary reasons, but they'll be just talking about what's going on in the.
You can watch them glance over when the crowd goes crazy.
But shout out to Phil Buffone and Cindy Sonoyan for getting us so much work and expanding our brand. Great. So I want to thank you for coming in. I appreciate your friendship and being part of Emerge.
I'm happy to be a part of it.
I just got to switch over now to my camera. I'm going to mute your mic. And then, folks, I'm trying to pull double duty here. I got to switch over. Give me a second. We are going to switch over to... we're going to be switching over to Tee It Up with Phil and Cindy. We appreciate everybody staying here on the live stream. We are now 5 hours into our 24 hours, so that's not even 25%. And I'm doing all right. So, hey, thank you for tuning in. I'm bringing up, we're going to switch over to Tee It Up now, and I'll be back in a little bit.